The poor girl mocked in the market, the daughter of a woman they called mad, who would believe that under a simple udara tree, her true story would unfold. This is part 2 of Amara's journey. But Amara could not stop. The udara tree was the only place where her hunger was fed. It was there one hot afternoon, as she whispered fractions to herself and traced numbers in the soil, that she heard a voice behind her. What are you doing here?" Amara froze. Her heart thundered in her chest. She turned slowly, and standing before her was a girl in a spotless uniform, her face soft but curious, her hands clutching books to her chest. And in that moment, Amara's life was about to change forever. Amara's heart beat fast the first day she saw Amaka up close. She had been crouched under the udara tree, whispering her numbers as she copied on the sand with a broken piece of chalk she had picked from the school's refuse heap, when the rich girl walked over. At first, Amara thought she had been caught and would be sent away like always, but Amaka only stood there staring, holding her pink school bag like it weighed 100 stones. "How did you know that answer?" she asked softly, her eyes wide with wonder. Amara froze, but the girl repeated the question. Trembling, Amara explained how she had listened to the teacher from the window and remembered the sums. Amaka looked at her as if she had seen a miracle. That day, a strange bond was born. At first it was cautious. Amaka would linger by the udara tree after school while her driver dozed in the car outside. She would glance around nervously, then pull out her exercise book and whisper to Amara, "Can you help me with this?" Amara's eyes always lit up. With her finger, she wrote on the dusty earth, showing Amaka how to break the sums into smaller steps. For the first time in her life, Amaka got an answer right without being scolded. The rich girl's face glowed with pride, and she hugged Amara tightly before running off. From that day, they began meeting almost every afternoon. The udara tree became their secret classroom. Its branches stretched wide, shading them from the sun, its fruits dropping sweetly in season for the girls to share. Amara's sharp mind guided Amaka through numbers, letters, and even stories. When Amaka stumbled over a word, Amara would gently correct her, her voice patient and kind. And when Amara grew hungry, Amaka would slip her packets of biscuits or leftover rice hidden in her school bag. They laughed together, they whispered together, and slowly, their differences began to fade. Amaka, who had everything money could buy, discovered joy she had never felt before, learning without fear of being mocked. Amara, who had nothing, discovered what it meant to be valued, to be seen as more than just a market girl. But not all days were easy. Sometimes Amaka cried, telling Amara how her teachers called her lazy and how her father frowned whenever she failed an exam. Amara would hold her hand and say, "You are not stupid. You just need someone to show you slowly." Those words meant the world to Amaka, who had grown up hearing the opposite. Other times, it was Amara's turn to cry, when hunger tightened her stomach or when her mother's madness worsened. Amaka would wipe her tears and whisper, "One day, things will be better. I promise." Though she could not change Amara's pain, her friendship was a comfort Amara had never known. Their friendship was fragile, hidden like a secret treasure. Amara always warned, "If your father finds out, he won't let you see me again." Amaka knew it was true. Chief Obiora, her father, was a man whose voice shook the house when he spoke, and who believed poor children were meant to stay far from his family. Still, she could not stay away. Each day she sneaked to the udara tree, her heart beating fast, but her face glowing with excitement the moment she saw Amara waiting with a stick to draw letters on the ground. Seasons changed, but their bond grew stronger. The udara tree, with its thick trunk and sweet fruit, became a witness to the laughter, the lessons, and the tears of two girls from opposite worlds. Amara taught Amaka to believe in herself, and Amaka reminded Amara that she was not alone in the world. Under that tree, poverty and wealth melted away. All that remained were two young girls holding on to each other, building a friendship that felt as magical as the river that flowed through their city. Yet, deep inside Amara, there was a fear she could not shake. She knew secrets never stayed hidden forever, and one day, the world outside the udara tree would come crashing in. But until that day arrived, she clung to the joy of teaching and the warmth of having a true friend. For the first time, she allowed herself to dream again. The afternoon sun burned hot over Royal Crest Academy, and the Udara tree swayed gently as Amara waited for Amaka. She had just finished scratching out a math problem on the ground when she heard heavy footsteps behind her. At first, she thought it was a teacher, and her heart jumped. But when she turned, it was not a teacher. It was a man dressed in a fine agbada, his face stern, his eyes sharp like a hawk's. Behind him trailed two bodyguards and Amaka, who looked pale and terrified. Amara froze. She had never seen Chief Obiora this close before, but she knew instantly who he was. The resemblance was in Amaka's face, and the authority was in the way everyone around stepped aside. "What is this?" Chief Obiora thundered, pointing at Amara. His voice was so loud that birds scattered from the Udar branches. Amaka tried to speak, but fear sealed her lips. Amara scrambled to her feet, her chalk-stained fingers trembling. She bowed her head, unsure whether to run or explain. Chief Obiora's eyes narrowed as he looked at the numbers written on the ground. "So this is the market rat my daughter has been sneaking off to see?" His words cut through the air like a whip. Amaka stepped forward, her voice shaking. "Papa, please, don't be angry. She's not a bad person. She only helps me learn." Chief Obiora's face darkened. "Helps you learn?" He laughed harshly. "You mean this street child, this nobody, is the reason my daughter has been hiding things from me? Guards drag her away?" One of the guards seized Amara by the arm, and she cried out in pain. Shame burned in her chest as she struggled, but the man's grip was too strong. "Leave her alone." Amaka screamed, surprising everyone. She rushed forward, clinging to her father's arm. Tears streamed down her face. "Papa, please. She's the only reason I pass my tests. She's the only one who makes me feel smart." Her words poured out like water breaking through a dam. Chief Obiora blinked, shocked at his daughter's outburst. He had never seen her so desperate, so bold. For a moment, silence hung heavy beneath the Udara tree. Then, with a wave of his hand, he ordered the guard to release Amara. She stumbled back, her heart pounding. Chief Obiora's gaze shifted to her, filled with suspicion and pride mixed together. "If you are truly as clever as my daughter claims, prove it," he said coldly. He barked out a math question he had overheard Amaka's teacher complain about, a problem that had troubled many of the students. Amara swallowed hard, her knees trembling, but her mind sharpened like a blade. She bent down, wrote quickly in the sand, and explained her steps clearly. When she gave the answer, Chief Obiora's eyes widened. The girl had solved it faster and clearer than the very teachers he paid so heavily. For a long while, he said nothing. Then he turned to Amaka, whose tears still glistened. "You mean to tell me this market girl teaches you better than your teachers?" His voice was softer now, though still hard. Amaka nodded. "Yes, Papa. She's the only one who believes I can do it." Something shifted in Chief Obiora's eyes. He looked again at Amara, at her bare feet, her torn dress, and the fire of intelligence shining behind her fear. Finally, he sighed deeply. "Amara," he said, testing her name on his tongue. "From today, you will no longer scratch lessons in the dust. You will go to school properly." Amara's breath caught. She could not believe what she had heard. Chief Obiora straightened his agbada and declared, "I will pay your fees. But remember, if you misuse this chance, you will regret it." His words were heavy, but in them lay a door Amara never dreamed would open. Tears filled her eyes as she bowed deeply. "Thank you, sir," she whispered, her voice breaking. Amaka hugged her tightly, both girls trembling with relief. The Udara tree stood tall above them, its branches swaying as if applauding the turning of fate. From that day, Amara's life was no longer chained to the dust of the market. The girl who once peeped through windows now held books in her hands, her heart soaring with hope. Yet deep inside, she never forgot the Udara tree, the secret classroom where two worlds had clashed and a new destiny was born. We want to welcome you to our channel. I believe you enjoyed the story. Kindly share this video and subscribe to our channel. We promise to bring you more interesting stories. Your support means everything.